I'm getting really tired of you booking. No, bitch. Promises. I'm getting really tired of you booking.
Just Naturi and I, you know, we had some conflicts. We just didn't get along very well.
Why not? What kind of issues were you dealing with?
She doesn't understand me.
Naturi just won't listen. That's what it is. Nah, actually, the funny thing is, we always.
Hi, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Adeze and I watch TV. So recently, with all of this madness that's been going on, I decided that I'm gonna rewatch all of my favorite Disney Channel original movies. And the first one that I was gonna watch is The Cheetah Girls. And The Cheetah Girls is literally like, it's one of my all-time favorite Disney Channel original movies. And so I thought, girl, let me just go ahead and do some research and figure out, you know, when each of the movies were made, because I was trying to decide if I wanted to do it all in order. But honey, baby girl, sweetheart, what I found was some drama, mama. Oh, girl, let me tell you what's going on. So I don't know if you if you know anything about the Cheetah Girls, so I'm gonna give some quick background data information, previous tea, before we get into this crazy Kiely Williams Instagram live, because girl, there was a lot of stuff going on with that Instagram live. This is gonna be a get ready with me, so yeah, let's get ready with me and let's just get it popping. Let's just get it chatting. Hello. Wow. But a brief history of the Cheetah Girls. Adrian and Kiely used to be part of a group called 3LW, and I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this already know this. So they were part of a group called called 3LW. And it was a 3-person group, and they were a huge hit in the 90s. Like, they sold millions of albums. They were really, they were really popping. This is, of course, Maybelline Fit Me. It's the matte because my skin is always glowing. And this is, I don't remember what color I used, 340 Cappuccino. But ooh, no, that's so much foundation. Put it back. Take it back. I really wish that this foundation had a pump and it wasn't just like, go for it. Because, child, I've been wasting so much foundation. But, yeah, so it used to be Kiely, Adrian, and a girl named Naturi. And I'm sure you already know a lot about this drama where Naturi was basically kicked out of the band, allegedly. I should say allegedly. All of this is alleged because, y'all, I'm not trying to get sued for nothing. So, allegedly, Naturi was kicked out of the band because she was dark-skinned. And multiple times through her 3LW time, they told her, nobody's checking for a dark-skinned girl. And they always would put Kiely and Adrian on, as the forefront of the band. And this is very, very apparent in their music videos. Like, if you go back and watch old 3LW music videos, Naturi really got the least amount of screen time. And y'all, no lie, no shade or nothing, but these other two girls ain't got nothing on Naturi. Like, she was the best singer, she was the best dancer. In fact, when she was dancing, it didn't even look like she was dancing. It kind of just looked like she was moving. You know what I mean? Like, the moves are just so ingrained in her. It's kind of like when you watch Fifth Harmony videos, and Normani is clearly the best dancer while everybody is trying to dance. That's how it was with Naturi. So Naturi gets kicked out of the band, and basically how this happened, it's this super dramatic story where Wendy Williams, back when she had the radio show, she got this tip, right, that Naturi, ma'am, where's my brush? Okay, basically how it happened is, back when Wendy Williams had a radio show, she got this tip that Naturi was going to get kicked out of the band, right? And so she talks about it on her radio show. And Naturi, girl, this was the first time Naturi was hearing about this too. But everybody thought that she had told Wendy that they were kicking her out of the band, right? So Kiely's mom and sister aunt start basically yelling at Naturi and berating her. And Naturi's cussing them out too because, girl, is she really like supposed to just sit there and take it? For what reason? You know what I mean? So words are being exchanged, and Kiely allegedly, again, you guys, allegedly, everything is alleged, throws KFC at Naturi, and there's like chicken and mashed potatoes in her hair and all this shit, and they leave her, again, allegedly, all of this is alleged, on the side of the road, right? And after all this happens, you know, she's no longer in the band, and they blackball her from the music industry, and she can't get signed with anyone, despite the fact that she literally was the best singer and the best dancer of the three of them in 3LW. Anyway, so honestly, her career, she's just so much more successful than the rest of them now, so it's a little bit hilarious that, you know, she was better off. So after they kick her out, they bring this new girl into the band. I think her name was Jessica or something like that, but pretty shortly after that, Adrian gets cast in the Cheetah Girls. So it's Adrian and raven-symone, and the original person who was actually supposed to play Aqua was Solange Knowles, Beyonce's sister, but then she decides to go off and do her solo career as a musician, and so she ends up not being in the Cheetah Girls, and so they invite Kiely Williams on to take her place, and they cast Sabrina. And so after the Kiely and Adrian get on the Cheetah Girls, 3LW essentially dissolves. And so there are 4 Cheetah Girls, and I'm just gonna call them by their actor names and not the character names, because y'all, I don't care. So it's Raven, Adrian, Kiely, and Sabrina. They're the Cheetah Girls. And the thing is, Raven, even though she's technically a Cheetah Girl, she was only a Cheetah Girl in the movie. So, because That's So Raven was also happening at the same time. And so she was too busy filming That's So Raven to go on tour with them. And she was also just, according to her, she wanted to also just be seen as a separate artist, because her entire life and her entire career has been as a solo artist. So, but she is part of the first and second movie. And during the second movie, while they're in Barcelona, apparently, y'all, something happened. We don't know exactly what it is, but something happened that caused Raven to fall out with the Cheetah Girls and no longer fuck with them. All right? So, we don't know what happened. And after the third movie comes out and Raven's not in it, the movie does, the movie does significantly, not worse, because it still does pretty well, but it just doesn't do as well as the other movies. And after that, kind of, Disney decides not to renew their contract. And this is while they were on the tour for their third movie. And there are a couple of reasons why people speculate, a couple of reasons why Disney decides that the Cheetah Girls have run their course. One is that, like, honestly, Disney franchises, whenever people start to get older, Disney can't really use them anymore, so that might have been a reason. Another reason was that maybe the Cheetah Girls had just run their course. Another reason that people were really talking about is that nude pictures of Adrian came out. And so people really fixated on that as a reason why the Cheetah Girls broke up, but there's no real credibility to that reason, especially since after nude pictures of Vanessa Hudgens came out, the High School Musical franchise didn't kick her out. So we think that they just got older. And apparently while they're on tour, that was when Adrian started dating Rob Kardashian. And allegedly, once more, guys, all of these are alleges, Kiely claimed that she was only dating Rob Kardashian for fame. Like, she was just using him to get on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which she did get on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So if that was the reason, girl, you go ahead and get yours. But Kiely and Adrian, despite the fact that they had been best friends, and after the whole chicken incident with Naturi came out, these girls really try to make Naturi look like a pathological liar. They did. They were on TV talking about her, being like, and like, it's so silly that we even feel like we have to defend this, but we would never throw chicken on anyone, blah, 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 blah. They were really out here trying to make her look like a pathological liar. Anyway, they've been best friends since the 3LW days, but something happens. We don't know exactly what it is. Just like something happens while they're on the third Cheetah Girls tour that completely like their relationship is done. They're no longer friends. They don't fuck with each other anymore. The end. So, fast forward to about 2 years ago, Adrienne is on The Real at this point, and she invites Notori on the show, and she apologizes to her. She's like, I'm so sorry for the way we treated you, because they really did other this girl. Like, they othered her in such a way. And you can tell in their music videos where Kiely and Adrienne there were some music videos where Notori was on it for like a third of the time that Kiely and Adrienne were on it, and they would frame it so that she would be cut off from the frame. And I'm like, girl, are there not 3 people in this band? What are we talking about here? What is this mess? Anyway, so about 2 years ago, Adrienne invites Notori on The Real, and at this point, Notori, her career is thriving. Like, she's on, I want to say Power, she's been on Broadway, like, she is living her best life, okay? So, she invites her on The Real and apologizes to her for the way they treated her. Wow, yeah, I'm really fucking this up. Ignore this. But they apologizes to her about the way they treated her while she was in 3LW. Also, look at this thing is done. This is as far up as it goes. We're done with this lipstick. Not lipstick, concealer or concealer stick, whatever the fuck it is. So she apologizes to Notori, and after she does this, Kiely's sister Tease, who was one of their managers, mind you, while all of this was happening, the managers of 3LW were Kiely Williams' mom and her sister. So Kiely Williams, her sister Tease, goes on Twitter. We love Twitter around these parts, right? So she goes on Twitter and starts bad-mouthing Adrienne, saying that they're a pack of liars, and that the apology was staged, and that they're lying on her family, and the only reason why Adrienne has a career, the only reason why the Cheetah Girls ended was because Adrienne's nude pictures came out. She only dated Rob Kardashian for attention. All this shit. She's really going public, saying all this shit about Adrienne. Like, ma'am. And at this point, Kiely's being quiet. Kiely's not coming out to defend her friend or anything like that, right? And so, that happens, and that shit was dramatic. Dramatic. For no reason. Anyway, so, fast forward to like 5 days ago or something like that, a video resurfaces. This was an interview from like months or years ago, where Raven basically says that she was on, I want to say, The View with the person who played her mom in the Cheetah Girls movie. And she says if it wasn't for her, that she would have gone to jail while they were in Barcelona, right? And so, you know, Twitter put their big bird brain back on, and they said, I wonder why she almost went to jail. Who was she finna fight? Who was she trying to fight when they were in Barcelona? So, people decide, for some reason, that it was Kiely Williams that she was gonna fight, right? And somehow, just give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and do this correctly real fast. Somehow, I don't know how, but people decided the reason why she almost fought with Kiely Williams was because Kiely Williams threatened to out her when they were in Barcelona, right? This, Raven never said this. And I don't know who, but someone said that this rumor came from one of Raven's co-hosts from That's So Raven, because mind you, when they were filming Cheetah Girls 2, That's So Raven was still going on. So she was living in both worlds at the same time. And so they basically say that it's because Kiely Williams threatened to out her when they were in Barcelona, right? And so Kiely decides to go on Instagram Live and refute these charges, right? And let me tell you, homegirl could have just gone on Instagram Live and been like, yeah, no, that never happened. I never threatened to out Raven, and just carried on with her business. right? She could have just, I'm all over the place right now, but she could have just done that and just carried on with her business. But nope, she decided that she was gonna do a whole Instagram live Q&A. And you guys, let me tell you, it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. It was the Hot Mess Express, all right? So in this Instagram live, first of all, her family she was doing this in her living room. There were multiple children just running around being loud, people interrupting her, people are looking for credit cards, people are asking questions about phone calls. Like, ma'am, if you're gonna do it correctly, you know what I mean? So there were some questions that she didn't really fully answer, but I think to me the most interesting and the most dramatic part was somebody asked her about Naturi, and homegirl really said, she said, first of all, I would never throw food at her. I would never waste food. Okay, quickly followed by her saying, I mean, if the choice is between me putting my little sister on the ground in the pavement and throwing food at you, then I'm gonna throw food at you. And I'm like, bitch, which is it? Did you throw food at her or not? Because now you've told how many separate stories over the years? How many stories have you told, Kiely? How many stories will we tell before this is over? That's crazy. You know what I mean? And guess whose story has never changed? Naturi's. Your story's out here changing every few years, and now you're saying what, like that you were gonna have to put your sister down to throw food at her, or to, because she was like, because I was going for her neck. If I like, it was either go for her neck or throw food, and I'm like, so you did throw the food? That's what you're saying. You're saying with your mouth, I did throw the food. That's what I'm hearing. So did you throw the food? Did you not throw the food? Anyway, so that's one bit of her Instagram live that was messy, to say the least, number one. And so basically, in my opinion, to me, what this sounds like is she just admitted that she did throw the food at Naturi. And she says, I have nothing to apologize for where Adrian is concerned. So we don't really get her saying any of this. And also, it's very clear over the years that anytime that Adrian talks about the Cheetah Girls, she always makes sure to keep Kiely's name out her mouth, right? And she has alluded many times to an ex-best friend who was mean to her, who said she had chicken legs, who would start rumors about her. And so Twitter and everybody has decided that that best friend is Kiely. So nobody can tell nobody otherwise, let me tell you. And so, yeah, so she said, as far as Adrian is concerned, I have nothing to apologize for. And for Naturi, oh, I think I wrote down exactly what she said. She said, if ever there was a reason for me to apologize to Naturi, that has been overshadowed by the blatant lies that she's told about my sister and my mom. Okay, when it's pretty clear, considering that only one person's story in this case has not changed, that you're the one who has been telling lies. And her mom gets involved, saying that Naturi says that they left her in this parking lot, but they actually took her to the hotel. And because Naturi basically says that they left her in this parking lot and refused to buy her a plane ticket home after kicking her out of the band. And the mom is disputing this, saying, no, we definitely, what am I doing? We definitely dropped her off at the hotel. And so that was, and apparently, according to the Williams sisters and moms and family, while she was in the car after the whole food throwing incident, she was, which that's another thing too, is they, like, their story doesn't even make sense, you guys. The story doesn't make sense because she says that they take her to the hotel, and while she was in the car before the hotel, she was just on her phone and texting, and then as soon as she sees the reps, she's like crying, and she's like, oh my gosh, it was so hot. So that's basically you admitting that you did throw food at her. If she was in a place where she could act as if there was hot stuff thrown at her, that means you did throw food at her. So you're contradicting yourself. So just stop with the motherfucking lies. They are lies, so stop it. Anyway, Anyway, so she goes on and she says she has nothing to apologize to. Oh, well, whatever. I have mascara on my eyelids. I don't really care. She says she has nothing to apologize to Adrian or Naturi for. And as for Raven, she never tried to out her. She would never do that, which I do believe her on that specific, but only on that specific count, that she didn't try to out Raven, because Raven never said specifically what it was, and that's just a huge assumption to make. And apparently this rumor dates back to one of her co-stars from That's So Raven. Anyway, I think I already said that. But she goes on to talk about how she never really wanted to be in the industry, and to which I'm just kind of like, that's false. That's what. Why are you lying? You know what I mean? It's a silly thing to lie about, because someone asks her, how do you feel about the fact that you never achieved success or something like that? And she's like, I mean, honestly, I never really wanted to be in the industry. And I'm just kind of like, that. 1 second, let me go ahead and just try to get this mascara on correctly, because I'm doing a bad job. Anyway, that's clearly false, as evidenced by the fact that you tried to pursue a career in music after the Cheetah Girls. I mean, we all remember the sex was spectacular. We remember it. We were here for, you clearly tried to pursue a music career after the Cheetah Girls was over. And you also clearly tried to pursue a career in movies, because you were in The House Bunny. You were also in, was it Stomp the Yard? You were in one of those movies as well. So, like, why are the lies happening? You clearly did try to stay in the industry, and then you just couldn't make it. And also, another thing that struck me about her, this Instagram live, which, y'all, it really was a mess. Please, if you haven't seen it, find it before it all gets deleted. Actually go ahead and download it now before it all gets deleted. But she basically, you guys, I'm fucking up. She basically, you can tell from the Instagram live that her time in 3LW and the Cheetah Girls were the time of her life, because she goes on and she talks about them for so long, and she talks about meeting Method Man, and this really irritated me, and I don't really know exactly why, but she was like, and then he told me that I talk like a white girl, and my heart was so broken. And I was like, first, like, it's one thing to say that at the time that it happened, but to still be, you're a grown-ass woman, to still be upset about the fact that sure, it was Method Man, right? Method Man is a big deal, but so what if he said you talk like a white girl? At this point in your life, you should see what was wrong with the fact that he said that. All right? So, but you can tell that basically her time when she was in 3LW and the Cheetah Girls were just the highlight of her whole life. Y'all, please, this Get Ready With Me is a whole mess. This look is not a moment, so yeah. Anyway, and she is like answering questions about like the songs that she loved that were never released from 3LW and all that stuff. And so, anyway, that's me wrapping up Kiely's really kind of silly Instagram live. Definitely watch it if you haven't watched it. It's worth a watch. But fast forward to like a day later, a video comes out of Raven, and Raven is talking about Kiely's Instagram live, right? And she was like talking to Brianna. I don't know who this Brianna person is, so I'm not even gonna pretend like I know who she is. But she's talking to Brianna something, who is someone's niece. I don't know. And she's talking about how Kiely, she says, Kiely Williams is doing an Instagram live about me, And in pure Kiely fashion, she's promoting my work, but being shady about it. She said something like that, which also go and watch that before all of those videos disappear, because you know people got lawyers, and these videos are all about to disappear here shortly. Then a couple days ago, Raven is in an interview saying that because someone asked her, do you think the Cheetah Girls will ever have a reunion? And she basically says, whatever Adrian wants to do, I will also do it, right? And it's just really, really, really interesting how both Adrian and Raven are always just a little bit cagey when asked questions about Kiely, especially Adrian. Adrian is especially cagey when asked questions about Kiely. Whenever she talks about the other Cheetah Girls, she will talk about everybody, but she will not talk about Kiely. And it's just so pointed. Like, it's so pointed. And in the Instagram live, someone asks Kiely, so don't you see how there's a common denominator? And she says, the common denominator is you all blaming me for shit that I didn't do. And I just think it's you know, it's just funny how of all of her girl groups that she's been in, there's only one person who still fucks with her. So anyway, that's the drama that's been going on recently with the Cheetah Girls. Yeah, let me know if you would still like to see this my video on everything wrong with the Cheetah Girls movie down in the comments. And yeah, I'll talk to you. All right, and then a couple things that I forgot to mention. In her Instagram live, Kiely says that Adrian would never want to have live TV with her, because then she would have to explain why she was either pretending to be her best friend for years and years and years, or because she was like, you were either my best friend then or you were just pretending the whole time. And I'm like, girl, do you not know how friendship works? Sometimes relationships die, people fall out, and that's clearly what happened. You used to be friends, and now you are no longer friends. That's how that works. And another thing is, Kiely Williams is so sensitive about the broken promises thing, because she spent an unnatural amount of time explaining that she never had a lisp, and the lisp was because they were having like technical difficulties and all this stuff. And it's like, girl, just say you had a lisp and keep it pushing. Like, you're just making yourself look silly. Like, the more and more you make a big deal out of a very small, simple thing, you look silly. You look so silly. Just say, I had a lisp, and keep it pushing. In fact, I feel like she would have so much more, she would be just a more likable person if she just accepted the joke and also made a joke out of it, as opposed to just being so what's the word? Not sensitive isn't quite the right word, but so defensive about it. Just, it's not that big a deal. Man, I will never understand. But for real this time,